They give us hope that we transcend death.
Supposing I died and I wanted to indicate that I still continued, well, I'd attempt to visit a few people that meant a great deal to me. Say, I made it. I'm here.
We have all heard tales of them, but few have the courage to believe.
I had my leg pulled about it, unmercifully. But whatever I saw was an apparition.
The evidence cannot be ignored, for they are all around us. Apparitions, hallucinations, ghosts.
Beyond what is known lies an unexplored world of shadows and phantoms. A land that knows no limits of time or space. From the dawn of discovery to the nightfall of catastrophe. Journey to a universe of the unexplained, the unforeseen, the unbelievable. A place beyond reality where no question will go unanswered. A place where myth and legend are law, superstition a science.
It's time for our journey to begin. They move among us, but many deny their existence.
Ghosts.
Fear came upon me in trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. That's how the book of Job describes the sighting of a ghost. From primitive to modern, nearly every culture has believed in ghosts. We have tried many ways to live with them, by turns striving to avoid, seek, banish, and trivialize them. Perhaps we laugh so we need not scream. And yet, sometimes the ghost is less horrifying than the life that preceded it. Such is the case with Scotland's Lord de Sully, one-time occupant of Hermitage Castle. A man, a devil, an unspeakable murderer of the innocent. And his time of reckoning finally came.
Tonight my Duncan never come home for his supper. I told him time again, don't go near this place. But would he listen? We knew the Lord was a bad man, but we never thought. Other children disappeared, but I looked everywhere. Finally I found Duncan, but I was too late. My son was dead, and the Lord was taking his blood to make black magic, to conjure a demon. May God help us all. He's gonna suffer good for what he's done. We're going to boil the Lord alive. And that will be too good for him.
The gutted ruins of his castle still stand today, as if waiting for its master to return. Something is said to walk upon these battlements. Something evil.
I've had people visit the castle, step in through the door and come straight out again. It's seen everything. It's seen treachery, it's seen romance, it'll have seen more bloodshed than at other places. It has everything about it.
Could the Lord de Sully's ghastly deeds live on? Can a man's evil survive his death?
when you enter the castle, you've got this tremendous feeling inside. You can imagine it. It's actually happened. There's something about it that you don't get the same feeling anywhere else.
The castle at Hermitage guards its secrets carefully, quietly, as if waiting for a time when the night will fall again and darkness will reach out to embrace the living. The sheer volume of these reported sightings is staggering, but few have been confirmed. Is it possible to get solid proof of such intangible subjects? One man has tried. For over a decade, Simon Marsden has photographed haunted abodes, seeking proof of ghosts, but rarely finding it, save for one time when his camera captured an unexpected image at a place called Borley Rectory.
Borley was one of the places I can say I was genuinely frightened. And Borley is known as the most haunted house in England, and has just about everything in it. In the story, that is. A coach and horses, a nun that's bricked up, and several other ghosts. Poltergeist activity, you name it, it's at Borley. I went there with two friends, and they asked to leave very quickly after arriving there. I was, of course, going around taking photographs, and on one of the negatives on the contact sheet was the shape in the sky, which I didn't notice till I blew up the actual picture. Now, I know how to trick, and probably any photographer does who's worth his salt, knows how to trick fake photographs. And I can sit here and swear to you that this is genuine, and this shape was not there when I took the picture. I've blown up that piece of the picture, and I still am none the wiser as to what it is.
To really understand this phenomenon, we need to look at more hauntings. Though ghosts exist around the world, they have become almost an institution in the United Kingdom, for good reason. They're everywhere. One place has many. Whitby Abbey. What might be there? Whitby Abbey is known not just for hauntings, but because it inspired Bram Stoker to write Dracula, one of the most terrifying horror stories of all time. And that inspiration still walks these ancient grounds.
There is a figure of the great Abbess Hild silhouetted in one of the windows in the north transept at about 10 o'clock in the morning on a fine day.
The atmosphere of the place, depending on what the weather's like or the various aspects of the night, you can get a lovely sunset there. And the quiet solemnity of the place, you can imagine the actual people still here, their actual presence still felt.
The ghost of an abbess has been seen in the cemetery below the abbey. What compels these visits? We may never know. Another of Whitby's hauntings is better documented. One of the abbey's nuns forswore her vows for the love of the night. For this, she was walled up alive. A ghost can still be seen, as if searching for her long-dead lover. Why do such apparitions appear? Let's conduct our own investigation. For our investigation, we've selected Newstead Abbey. At one time a monastery, it became the Byron family home in 1540. There's an ancient belief that ill luck befalls those who alter sacred buildings, and this belief seems true based on the Byron family history. Madness, murder, deformity, decadence, an estate plagued with some half a dozen hauntings. One family member, the great poet Lord Byron, loved the place dearly, but sensed its sinister undercurrents.
He once wrote of Newstead, "Through silence and shade o'er its desolate walls, it shines from afar like the glories of old. It gilds, but it warms not. 'Tis dazzling, but cold."
Lord Byron seems to be one of the few family members who doesn't haunt Newstead, but his deranged uncle, known as the Devil Byron, still walks these halls. And there's another spectre, a mysterious ghost called the White Lady.
I was motoring along serenely, and in the middle of the road, a light shone on this figure, which I assumed to be a lady. She was dressed in a long white gown, and my lights shined onto her, and she then sort of walked aside and disappeared, I know not where. But this is the White Lady that I saw. This is no fanciful sort of invention. I definitely saw this figure.
Byron had a Newfoundland dog, Bosun. He loved the dog and requested burial alongside him. That last wish was denied, and perhaps as a result, the little dog's ghost still searches for his master. The most famed and feared of Newstead's ghosts is the Black Friar. He appears just before times of crisis and calamity. Byron feared that the friar didn't just warn of doom, but seemed to usher it in. But no one can say for certain why he appears, or when. Why is the seeing of apparitions so unpredictable?
One theory about apparitions are that they do represent some surviving aspect of a person's personality. And there are some cases in the literature where I feel that this is a very viable explanation for what occurs. And in many cases, the apparitions seem to wish to fulfill unfinished business.
Supposing I died and I wanted to indicate that I still continued, that I still existed, well, I'd attempt to visit a few friends or people that meant a great deal to me and make my presence known. It'd be exactly the same thing as if the first astronaut to Mars. The first thing he's going to do, or she is going to do, is radio back and say, "I made it. I'm here."
It seems to me very likely that some of these experiences are to reassure those who are living.
Not all ghosts or apparitions represent the same modus operandi at work.
One source of answers, which is very intriguing to me, is that sometimes these ghosts are sighted on very meaningful occasions.
Then there are other reasons, possible pacts made between living people, and then one person dies and fulfills a pact, and such things do exist.
One of the most frustrating aspects of the field of parapsychology is the fact that not everyone can see the phenomena.
We've next got to answer one fundamental question. What exactly is a ghost? We've seen what ghosts are like, but what are they?
When we venture into the world of ghosts, what we are seeing is a whole range of different phenomena that all appear to be very similar, but which may in fact represent very different phenomena and different physical principles at work.
The two main types, for instance, are ghosts of the living, phantoms of the living, and the ghosts of the dead.
Perhaps somehow the consciousness of a person upon death continues. And at times, some of the living are able to see that consciousness in the form that looks like the body of that person when living.
Some people feel that this is that this represents the soul of a person who has died. Now, I have a little bit of trouble with that explanation because ghosts usually show up wearing clothes, often holding things such as books or walking sticks. I don't believe that walking sticks or clothing have souls.
Yes, I think some ghosts are produced by, you might say, a telepathically induced hallucination, but I think that doesn't explain the thing at all.
Some people believe that perceiving ghosts or having psychic experiences deal with the right hemisphere of the brain. This I consider to be total nonsense.
I don't think near enough research has been done with right brain, left brain hemisphere work to really make an opinion on that.
Some people are more receptive, just like some people can draw better than other people or what have you. Nobody knows why, but it's so.
Brain hemisphere theory is fascinating. Might it be that our brains could affect sightings of ghosts? Modern neuroscientists attribute different thinking processes and abilities to different hemispheres of the brain. For example, the left hemisphere is responsible for language, logic. The right is the realm of imagination, dreams, the creativity that may have driven Bram Stoker and Lord Byron into their visions of the supernatural. But one doesn't have to be a literary genius to experience ghosts. Ordinary people have seen extraordinary things in another of England's ghostly habitats, a place called Wotton Priory. A nunnery founded in the 8th century, the priory is today inhabited by a family who have frequently witnessed a variety of hauntings.
In the house, we've heard a lot of sighing in the kitchen in the corner, and it was really heartrending.
I've definitely heard ghosts. My wife's seen ghosts, mother-in-law's seen ghosts, sister-in-law's seen ghosts. Everybody in the neighbourhood seems to have seen ghosts here at different times.
I've seen the little brown man that walks about. I think he must have been a gardener. But he actually stood at the bottom of the drive when we first moved up here and watched me planting rose bushes. He had quite an amused expression on his face.
Well, there's things there that aren't supposed to be there, so if they're not ghosts, what are they?
Over the past 1,200 years, Wotton Priory has been inhabited by hundreds of people, and it seems some still remain within its walls.
I could see this person in grey. When I looked, it was a cavalier, looking out over this way. And he looked very tense and very worried. And he kept looking through the window as though he was expecting somebody to come.
You pick up a feeling of sadness, especially in some parts of the house. But other than that, no, they're just, I suppose, from a comic now, like you're sharing a house with a friend.
Ghosts are all around us, but only some of us are receptive to their presence. Now, how can this be? We have seen how some can perceive more than others. At times, we may see more than we may wish to. But are there any of us who do not want to believe that we survive beyond the grave? Why is it that only some of us see ghosts? The poet William Blake writes, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite." 20th century science has found that our brains act as reducing valves, shutting out excess or terrifying information lest it overwhelm us. We are consciously aware, then, of much less than our senses perceive. Yet when faced with ghostly proof, our minds seek protection by embracing disbelief. Someday I hope we will not need such protection.
Secrets and Mysteries presents information based in part on theories and opinions, some of which are controversial. The producer's purpose is not to validate any side of an issue, but through the use of actualities and dramatic recreation, relate a possible answer, but not the only answer, to this material. Air transportation to England for Secrets and Mysteries provided by British Caledonian Airways.